What's up, guys? I'm going to share with you the number one thing you can do right now to shed 12 to 16 pounds of pure fat. And if you do this one thing right and you do it consistently, you too will lose that 12 to 16 pounds of pure body fat, despite having a crazy schedule, not having time to even go to the gym, or just constantly being stuck on the go. And for some of you who may be new to my world or maybe don't know who I am just yet, my name is Tyler Jones, and I was a former sports sales executive for about a year in the NFL. And guys, when I first got started in sports sales back in 2019, right before that, I was a personal trainer. I was so used to being on my feet all day, being active, working out a lot. And then obviously when you start in sales, then you end up working at a desk. And I remember just sitting for long periods of time throughout the day, sometimes even like 5, 6 hours straight at a time. And I remember just not moving much, being active. And, because I was not active, not only did I, end up gaining 30 pounds of just pure fat, but I also just had super low energy. I just felt lethargic all day. And, I actually started to actually get stiffs and pains and aches, just from being hunched over and just kind of dialing a lot. And the domino effect of, just being overweight now, having, super low energy and just being aches and pains and just not feeling good and feeling uncomfortable, I actually started to affect my sales. And I actually didn't close, a sale for almost 2 months at one point. And at one point I was one of the top sales reps in my inside sales class. So I went from being at the top to all the way at the bottom very quickly and just not selling anything for, 2 whole months. Definitely left me frustrated, definitely left me feeling stuck, like kind of where do I go to from here? And then I stumbled on this one thing that actually ended up helping me, start the process to lose that same 30 pounds of fat in the next 3 to 4 months. Obviously start to feel more energized, feel better, and actually start to bring my sales back up to where they needed to be and still being at rejoining the top of the class when it came to making sales. And that's why I'm super excited to share with you this one thing, because I know it's going to help you just as much as it's helped me. And it's helped my clients like Calvin, shed almost 15 pounds of fat in only 3 to 4 months. My client Nick, who's almost down, 12 to 15 pounds. And Devin and a bunch of other people who are just have shedded fat, feeling so great about themselves, but also crushing their sales. Like even like Devin, he's closed about $40,000 in sales last month in only a 2-week span. And that number one thing, guys, is hitting 10,000 steps per day. So in short terms, walking, just staying active throughout your day. And if you are someone who wants to feel more energized, make more sales, and just obviously shed fat, make sure to take these quick notes that I'm going to share with you, the top 3 tips on how to hit that number every single day and get your results accelerated and obviously helping you lose fat quickly. So guys, step number 1 is to focus on walking and obviously the step count. So, I made this mistake, like I just mentioned, when I was in sports, because I see a lot of people in the world of just sales in general, and most people just making this mistake, is that they just stay sedentary, throughout their day, and they don't move and they just stick to the grind. And the big issue with this is not only will you start to feel low energy and start to feel aches and pains, it's also not good for like your blood flow. It's also not good for your digestion. Your digestion actually slows down for the longer that you sit throughout the day. So again, the average person walks about 5,000 steps per day. So that's half of the number that we got to get to optimize for fat loss. But again, most people just stick to the desk instead of moving around throughout their day. So one thing that you should implement now is start to just move around for short stints throughout your day, whether it's 5-10 minutes after you crank out a bunch of calls, or just like every hour just move for the next 5 to 10 minutes so you can just at least stay active, feel fresh, and that way you kind of keep your energy high. And guys, so this, for 5 minutes of walking and just getting steps, that's about 500 steps, when you're just walking around for 5 minutes on average. And if you do 10 minutes of walking on average, that can equal 1,000 steps, guys. So you can start to see, if you do that through short bouts throughout the day, you can hit that 10,000 step mark and get things moving in the right direction. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to, again, do things that are enjoyable activities or things that you are not going to like dread doing, right? So the biggest mistake, I've made in the past, I see people make when it comes to just staying active, is they're doing things that they absolutely hate, right? Like, and I would say most people are going to the feeling like to stay active, they have to go to the gym, stay on the treadmill on an incline for 30 minutes, at the 12 incline or the Stairmaster, and they absolutely hate it, right? And I get doing cardio at the gym is a great way to like obviously kill time and obviously make up for steps you maybe didn't get throughout the day. But if you're always doing something you just hate, then you're not going to want to continue to do it. And obviously you're going to fall off and not just kind of go back to being sedentary. So, and it's just like this, if you're always eating your vegetables as a kid, right? And you hate them, over time you're just going to find better ways to come up with excuses not to eat them or even throw them under the table or give them to the dog, right, and throw them out. So one thing you could do right now is do things you enjoy. I would always say walking is something you could do. Like you can kill two birds with one stone, which is like walking, listening to a podcast, taking your dog out on a walk, walking with a loved one, kind of catch up and talk about your week. All that stuff is fun, because it's interaction, and also you can also use it as a way to get your own personal time. But two, like also if you're a big fan of playing sports or like pickleball or tennis or basketball, do those things as well. Because I have a bunch of clients that are participating in, leagues, co-ed leagues, men's leagues, and they play their sport that they love. And that way, some of them are hitting like 10, 15, even 20,000 steps easy every single day, or even multiple times a week, just because they are doing something they enjoy, instead of just going to the gym and suffering on a treadmill. If that's something you hate, again, nothing against the people that love doing that. I just know I personally couldn't do it, at least for a long period of time. So, but again, just do something that you find enjoyable. And that's another way of just staying active, or just going on short stints of walks to kill two birds with one stone and get some, quality time to yourself or spend with others. And lastly, guys, step number 3 is to, I would say, work out at least also 3 times per week along with this. Most people, the biggest mistake I see most people make is they don't need to exercise. Like they feel like they need to exercise at least like 7 days per week, right? And that's just not the case, because that's the quickest way to learn to burn out and having shitty recovery. So I would say mixing in, obviously doing like, workouts at least 3 days a week, like 3 full body days to hit the weights to make sure you're still maintaining your muscle mass, because the walking is going to help as a supplement with shedding fat. But you want to make sure you're keeping your muscle along the way as well. So you want to work out at least 3 days per week, and then just focus the rest of the week with steps and making sure you're just staying active. And all of that together is going to help you shed the fat even quicker than just like sticking with the walking, guys. Because again, like you don't want to lead to burnout, and you don't want to have shitty recovery as well. And here's a quick bonus tip, guys. 2 actually. Number 1, another great way to stay active is like taking the steps, parking far away in the parking lot when you go to the grocery store, obviously taking the steps at work, like I just mentioned, instead of taking the elevator. Just find ways that you can do whatever it takes to get extra steps. Like sometimes if I need to hit that 10,000 steps and I'm short, like I'll pace around my house and be on a phone call with somebody and kill 2 birds, again, with one stone. Or investing in a walking treadmill at work so you can be on calls, but also still stay active and walk throughout your day, guys. All of those are great things. And then the last bonus tip is you obviously want to try to aim for being in a calorie deficit, so that way you can even shed fat loss, make it accelerate faster than it already is. And I'll make sure to drop a link to a calculator in the comments below that you can kind of input all your numbers and kind of get at least a ballpark range of where you should be. So that way you can be a little bit more conscious of like your portions and how much you're eating on a daily basis, and kind of bring awareness to that as well. But I would say those are things that you could also integrate over time. It doesn't have to be something you have to do right away, but I would definitely recommend just having a baseline knowledge of all those things as you start to crush your steps and hit the 10,000 steps per day. Because at the end of the day, 10,000 steps, guys, equals about 500 calories burned. If you do that 7 days a week, you're going to burn about a pound of fat, because a pound of fat is about 3,500 calories, guys. And that's why 10,000 steps is super important for you to accomplish. So that way it accelerates fat loss and makes it your insurance policy at the end of the day if you overeat or like run into any mistakes or just kind of, mess up a day or two. It's always going to be your insurance policy. So guys, I hope this was super helpful for you. I know I went on a little rant here and there at times, but I hope this was super helpful for you. And if it was, and you want to see more content like this in the future, just make sure to click subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and turn on notifications so that way you hear about, my videos when they drop, because I'm going to be bringing some more in the coming weeks and the coming months. And if you're also someone who struggles with fat loss, and wants guidance, and you're in the world of sales, make sure to click the link in the below to book a strategy call with me. That way we can take a deeper dive into what's going on in your current situation. Obviously, get down how much fat and muscle fat you want to lose, muscle you want to build, and obviously kind of brainstorm on a game plan that will get you to your ultimate destination and see if we'd be a good fit to work together. But thanks again, guys, as always, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good one, guys. Peace.